Good evening po. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Saan man kayong
Recorded na ba ito? Okay.
Yes po, Pas.
Okay. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Saan mang sulok kayo ng mundo. So ngayon, magpapakabata muna tayo. Alphabet of Principled Living. Pero hindi po to alphabet lang na simple. I mean, may complications yung iba, pero we will explain why. So ako po si Lissa Jardin, member ng Rads to Riches since May. So I'm a previous banker. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm running a consulting firm called Optimize One. And also I'm doing this as advocacy for Rads to Riches and other efforts also. So ayan. So welcome to R2R. Today's agenda is a little sharing about why I am here. As I said earlier, this is part of my advocacy. If I have the means, I want to give it as a gift to many people. Tapos ano po yung principled living? It's based on many things, but first of all, it is based on, of course, spiritual, and then on discipline. So later we will see why. And then we will start with ABC, then we proceed until we finish letter Z. And then we will have a Q&A later. So yan. Principled living is based on, kanina hindi ko napapasukin yung Word of God kasi sila pastor ang magaling doon. But basically, you can decipher later that everything that we're doing is anchored on the Word of God because that's the truth. So it's about discipline, guidelines, our limitations, concepts, good habits, and role models. So yan. Here I am sharing my personal guidelines acquired from my 27 years of corporate life, not only in banking but in other industries like FedEx, Nissan, Energy Development Corporation, PNOC, ano pa ba? PBCom. Ayan, and 49 years of living. So ito pong mga i-discuss ko ngayon ay mga na-acquire ko since bata pa ako sa aking mga magulang, of course sa community and sa studies and sa work life ko. Ayan, we start with the letter A. First, abundance mindset. I credit Pastor Kino for talking about this the other day. So, why do we have to have this mindset? Because God is infinite. Tayo lang ang may limitations kasi imperfect tayo. And the universe connives with what we really want to do with our life. And we share because of this abundance mindset. Kasi kung wala tayong abundance mindset, we tend to keep it to ourselves. We tend to be selfish. Always remember the well will not run dry. As Pastor said last Tuesday in his training, channel lang tayo. Everything was given to us for us to share it. So prosperity equals abundance. Okay. Another A is accountability. Most of the people now don't have this, kaya tayo nagkakagulo. Nagkamali na, hindi pa aaminin. So we have to have this accountability in all things, even smaller things, even in our home, everywhere. It's being responsible for your actions. There's an ownership. No cover up of own mistake kasi hindi natin masasolve ang problema kung hindi natin aaminin. And that is also humility. So, ang accountability should be present, especially now in the world of politics, di ba? Maraming hindi gumagawa niyan, kaya tayo hindi umuunlad. And of course, the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that God is the source of everything, and acknowledgement that we cannot do everything. So, kung merong naggawa ng isang magandang bagay, we don't credit grab. We give where credit is due. Letter B. Begin with the end in mind. Okay, when we wake up, begin each day with a prayer. Then proceed with the task or project with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination. So pwede niyo po itong i-chop-chop. Pwedeng daily, monthly, weekly, monthly, and the whole life. So pag may goal po tayo, may direction tayo, alam natin kung ano yung tatahakin natin na roadmap, di po ba? And while doing everything that we're supposed to do, we maintain also balance. So may principle ng yin-yang. I don't know if everyone will adopt this, but these are good principles naman. Kung meron pong restriction sa ating religion or anything, it's also still good to benchmark. And balance means harmony. And harmony and balance would create stability. Hindi yung maraming intermittence or fluctuations. Okay? B also connotes for bold and brave. I am a very bold and brave person. Um, Being bold means being clear. Huwag yung paikot-ikot. You can be straightforward, but you can be polite and respectful. So ito natutunan ko po to sa Western discipline. In FedEx, we would be very bold with each other. Pero after nung bull session na tinatawag sa corporate standard, walang samaan ng loob, walang personalan. Being brave also is courageous. It doesn't mean that there's no fear. There's still strength in the face of fear. But being bold and brave is also anchored on the Bible, on the Word of God. Kasi hindi natin kaya mag-isa. We have to be anchoring on the promise of God that He is always there, and on our faith that we cannot do it alone. Next is, umangat. Letter C. We create our personal brand. So yung mga social media po na puro negativity, puro whining and criticizing negatively, or yung nang-aaway, hindi po magandang personal branding yon. So I'm in marketing. So whatever you do with your social media platform, with your actuations, nag-roll up po yan sa personal brand, makikilala ka in a bad way. Okay? And we create ideas, not gossips and intrigues. We also create lasting relationships, positive atmosphere as much as possible, and of course, clean and sustainable environment. Kasi kung hindi natin aalagaan ng Mother Nature, ganito mangyayari sa atin. Yung pandemic is part of our disturbance to the wildlife, di ba? There's also a famous say la vie. It's a French term or a phrase. It's called such is life. So as I was earlier saying, huwag tayong whine ng whine or complain ng complain. Accept the changes, accept the circumstances, and move on and do something about it. Next is connect. Connect is finding a common ground and meaning. So yung ginagawa po natin ngayon sa Rads to Riches is part of our connection. On a personal note, when we talk and when we encounter people, we try to connect with them. No matter how big or how small or how low, how high, we find a common ground and meaning. And we communicate. That's part of networking actually. Letter T, develop good habits. Ito po yung very famous sa business environment, yung 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Kung mapapansin nyo po, may mga biblical talaga din dyan. Ayan yung habit 1, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, yung sinasabi ni Sir Rads lagi. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. This training is part of our sharpening the saw para maging ready tayo sa iba pang susunod na kabanata ng Rads to Riches. Of course, detailed orientation. Hindi po totoo yun na habang tumataas ka sa iyong karera or sa iyong posisyon, kakalimutan mo na maging detalye. It's very important because details are significant no matter what. Kasi kung hindi accurate ang details natin, mali-mali ang ating conclusion, ng assumption, and solution. And next is diversity. Ngayon, globalized na po ang mundo, di ba? Because of the digital revolution. Tayo mga Pinoy, may tendency tayong palutangin lagi yung kultura natin as the best in the West. Mayroon din po mga best na ibang kultura and every culture has its own best. Okay? So hindi po tayo superior na lahi. And we have to find a common ground because of this diversity. So, wag po tayo mag-oversell ng kami attitude. We also try to appreciate the diversity of the culture of the culture of other nations and their strengths, their features, and yung magaganda rin nilang ugali. So, ang diversity po is importante because ang Rads to Riches will go global later on. So, we have to be able to be working with different nationalities, di ba? Letter E, ayan, emotional intelligence. It's a breakthrough from the traditional IQ. Alam niyo po ba yung IQ, di ba? Intelligence quotient, ba? Ang bagong breakthrough po ngayon, ang successful person or leader is not only high in IQ, but more on emotional intelligence. Ito yung self-awareness, self-regulation or control, motivation, empathy, social skills. May libro po yan by Dr. Bradbury, EI 2.0. It's a best-selling book, New York's best-selling book. And then we also empower. We empower ourselves, we empower others by sharing. So yung empowering po natin, hindi yung power trip ha. Empowering is educating ourselves, learning new things every day, making ourselves better every day. And of course, yung excellence. Hindi na po tayo dapat mediocre thinker. If we want to be successful in anything that we do, we always search for excellence. Hindi na po pwede yung kultura na pwede na. But pwedeng-pwede dapat and world class. Letter F, fulfill your promise. Don't break promises because it reflects the word of honor on your side. Kung hindi po magagawa, heads up. If not doable, ahead of time. Compensate for it. Sa business lingo po, may tinatawag kami na dati na customer relationship management. Ibig sabihin, whatever you promise to the customer, you have to fulfill. And you can only do that if you treat everyone as internal or external customer. Next, letter F, find your niche. Ibig po sabihin ng niche, yung uniqueness mo, yung kung saan ka makaka-leverage. Meron kang, tawag dito, meron kang advantage. So, wag gaya-gaya. Itong R2R has its niche kasi very novelty siya and pinagsama-sama lahat ng ideas at nilagay sa fintech, di po ba? Revolutionary siya. So, tayo ring mga Pinoy, again, medyo gaya-gaya tayo. Hindi tayo nagda-diversify from the rest. So, this is only possible if we're able to assess our inner assets and talents. Okay? And also, fill the gaps and cracks. Ito, I think is being part of the solution and not the problem. We can do this by strengthening our weaknesses and assessing the situation. Saan ba tayo pwedeng tumulong? And we can optimize our strengths here and assess also the risk from threats and opportunities. Yung pong sinabi ko sa inyo is a SWOT analysis concept. Yung mga business graduates po and managers are using this a lot of times to assess the situation and come up with the objective solution. G, good governance. Ang good governance, napaka-importante po yan. Why is Singapore very progressive? Because may good governance. Medyo tayo, lacking pa yung ating gobyerno dito. But good governance is not only for politics or government. Even for ourselves, meron tayong mga kailangang i-comply na laws. And thankfully, ang R2R talagang complied siya sa mga SEC and business permit and everything. And we're not only complying, we're also enforcing it. Kung tayo ay follower, we also should be able to implement it, especially po sa mga bahay natin. Kasi good governance starts at home. Dahil ang GMRC starts at home, di ba? And being in good governance would always require updating. Hindi pwedeng nagsistagnate po yan or naluluma kasi nag-iiba ang kalakaran sa mundo at sa paligid. Next is grow. Huwag po tayong makomplento lang sa kung ano yung alam natin 10 years ago. We have to revolutionize also ourselves, reinvent, ika nga ni Sir Rads. But we have to expand with caution. So like we are gearing for prosperity in Rads to Riches, pero kailangan alam natin i-handle pag yumaman na tayong lahat, di ba? So when we are capacity planning po sa corporate, hindi lang kami marketing ng marketing kasi advertise ka na advertise but you cannot handle at the back end, sasabog din yon. And we should be able to foresee changes with the growth that we are intending. And of course, this is very important. And kakabit po tong gratitude sa abundance mindset. When we're grateful, we're able to share. And being grateful overcomes all the fears, all the anxieties, all the worries in the world. So yan po, pinapractice po yan ng affirmation and positivity every day. Na pagising mo pa lang, magpasalamat na tayo at meron tayong buhay at meron tayong provisions. H, harmonize. Ito, kailangan din po na yung goal natin, ina-assess natin against or ina-align natin vis-a-vis our abilities. Hindi naman pwedeng yung goal natin suntok sa buwan, di ba? Kinakapacitize din po natin kung anong kakayahan natin, anong meron tayo, ano pang magkakaroon tayo, and ano yung support group natin. And we have to blend all the elements in our life, or the people around us, and not divide. So kung meron po tayong mga naririnig na usapin, hindi nawawala yan sa pamilya, sa community, sa grupo, sa trabaho, wag na po tayong makisawsaw. Hanggat maaari, mag-neutralize po tayo ng tension and mag-harmonize tayo. Next, very important is honorable. Honorable means deserving of respect. Hindi po yung honorable lang na mayor or governor. Anyone can be honorable. So when we say deserving of respect, hindi po yan nangyayari overnight. Kakabit po yan ng lahat ng pinag-aralan natin kanina, plus yung personal branding, how you project yourself, how you behave. And being honorable has or will attain high regard. Okay? Hindi po yan sinabi ko as in the status, hindi sa wealth or position mo sa buhay, but in the decency of your or conduct ng decent conduct of yourself. And itong next is headway. Very banking po ito, banking term. So ito po tinatawag na forward movement of a ship or boat, especially when this is slow or difficult. For us to manage ourselves and our expectations, wag po nating titingnan agad yung gigantic. Kung meron tayong malaking goal, titingnan natin yung headway also. Pwede kasing hindi masunod yung mga gusto natin in a very fast manner, pero meron naman siyang headway na tinatawag and still good. AI, integrity. Yan, very important po yan, along with credibility. Ang sabi ni C.S. Lewis, i-research niyo po si C.S. Lewis, marami po siyang famous quotes, doing the right thing even if no one is looking. So ito, very biblical po talaga to. Hindi natin kailangang matakot tayo because may nakatingin sa atin. Even hindi nakikita ng ibang tao, nakikita ni God yan sa taas kung ano yung ginagawa natin. Even yung puso natin nakikita. I also can be initiative. It's the ability to assess and initiate things independently. So, yung pagkukusa, napaka-importante po yan. Hindi yung antay lang tayo ng antay na dadalhin tayo ng ibang tao. We should not be a burden to anybody. Next is ingenuity. The quality of being clever, original, and inventive. Siyempre, hindi naman tayo equipped, di ba? Kasi mahirap tayong bansa, marami tayong mahihirap na tao. Pero marami pong ingenuity sa atin. In fact, nakakahinayang kasi marami tayong inventors na Pinoy, but because walang support sa government, kinukuha ng mga ibang bansa, di po ba? So being resourceful is not, doesn't require that you have everything in your hand. Looking around you to be creative with what's available. Okay? Marami namang Pinoy po sa atin na resourceful talaga. Letter J, we join. We join in family meals. Importante po yung values na yan because that's where we update each other. That's where we bond with our family, the basic unit of our society. We join a community, a prayer community, an advocacy like Rags to Riches. Pag naman po tayo employed, yung corporate social responsibility na tinatawag or CSRs, that's also an advocacy. And in the next letter J's, hinighlight ko po dalawang leaders na tinitingala ko na gusto nyo rin probably na mabasa yung kanilang mga creations. Si Jack Welch was the GM and president of GE. General Electric. Isa po siya sa revolutionary leader ng mga panahon ng 1990s. So he advocated the boundaryless leadership, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sir Rads, itong open organization mo sa kumpanya natin is being practiced tong boundaryless. Open policy. You can go directly to Sir Rads anytime or to anybody. Si Jack Welch is also the proponent of 4 qualities in leadership: energy, energizer, edge, and execution. Hindi ko na po expound, baka hindi tayo matapos. And then John Maxwell naman, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, where number 1 is to have credibility. Hindi mo daw paniniwalaan ng message kung hindi mo tinatrust yung messenger. So pastor din po yan si John Maxwell, and he has a very famous book in this title. Letter K, know your purpose. So may book din po dyan si Rick Warren, Purpose-Driven Life. But on the day-to-day, how do we know our purpose? Ako nalaman ko lang ang purpose ko recently talaga when I started feeling confined in my corporate banking life. Kasi nag-start na po akong mag-medical mission, mag-charitable. Parang mas masaya yung puso ko doon kesa sa bangko. Gusto ko laging ganun ang ginagawa ko. That's why I went out. Ginamit ko rin yung health reason ko kung bakit valid yung decision ko to live a very successful career. And also another one is KRA. Ito po, terminology to sa corporate talaga. Key Result Area. Sabi daw, you cannot manage or what you cannot measure. So sa buhay po natin, kailangan minimeasure din natin kung ano yung mga KRAs natin, part ng goal setting natin yan. At sa corporate life naman, if you're an employee, ilalagyan po sila ng Key Performance Index para malaman kung saan sila mag-i-improve, ano pa yung pwedeng i-develop, ano pa yung strengths na pwedeng i-maximize. And of course, K stands for kindness. Ito po yung pag-imbibe ng right definition of kindness. Malalim, para po sa akin, malalim ang kindness. It doesn't, well, at the first encounter, you could sense that a person is kind. But to me, based on my experience, kindness is you can determine a real kind person in terms of crisis. Hindi yung sa masayang panahon lamang. L, let go. Let go of the past. Learn from it lang. Huwag mo na pong gamitin ngayon yan. Let go and move on. Love. Love not only yourself. Love others. And I think that is the purpose also of Rags to Riches. We want to advocate for the poor people of our society because our hearts full of love. Kailangan nating i-share ang talent, ang skills, ang blessings. Eto, I don't know if you will agree with this, but ako, I live by the principle of live and let live. Some people find it negative, but to me, I tweak it to the positive concept. We tolerate other opinions and behaviors. So as I said earlier, sa social media, wag nating patulan yung mga hindi naman kapatol-patol na. Let's tolerate it. If hindi naman mag-a-add ng value sa atin, just ignore it. At wag tayong makisawsaw sa mga bagay na wala namang significance sa atin at sa ikabubuti ng ating sarili at pamumuhay. M, manage. Okay? Hindi naman po tayo kailangang maging managers. Pero on our day-to-day, kailangan nating ma-manage ang time, ang resources natin kasi scarce siya or limited. Kasi pag di natin minanage ang resources natin, magkakagulo-gulo yung day-to-day natin, magkakagulo-gulo pati monthly, weekly, and buong buhay natin. Kasi nga, time and resources are luxury. Hindi siya abundant, di po ba? Yung binigay sa atin, I mean. Okay? We also manage our expectations para hindi tayo madaling na-frustrate. Okay? Kung na-frustrate man tayo, we still have to manage the frustration. And maintain. Very important to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Kung mapapansin niyo po, napansin ko when I was working in the corporate life, in the corporate world, Mga CEO na very successful, they're very fit and healthy. They really allocate time to go to the gym, to run, to exercise. Okay? And then maintain a standard of living. Hindi po sinasabi dito na kailangan mataas ang standard of living mo. Ibig sabihin ko po dito, when you have windfalls or meron kayong nag-a-advance na yung pamumuhay natin, wag po nating itaas or nag-a-advance ang ating kita or wealth. Wag nating agad i-adjust yung standard of living and live with the Joneses. Kailangan po moderately lang, di ba? Next is motivate. Ito, hirap na hirap po tayo to motivate others, especially if we do not motivate ourselves. Self-motivated individuals are fun to be with kasi hindi niya kailangan pukpukin. Siya mismo sa sarili niya ang pupukpok sa sarili niya. Letter N. I am so fond of saying this. Never say never. Huwag po nating itataga sa bato. Nothing is impossible. Anything can happen. Pero don't put it in a negative way. Sinasabi lang po yan, kung ano yung mga bagay na ayaw mong gawin ngayon, possible in the future, nagbabago ka, nagpo-progress ka, pwede mong gawin. So you could read on Charles Dickens, a famous classical novelist, doon po sa Pickwick Papers niya. Okay? Siya din po yung author ng Christmas Carols. Okay? Letter N, let's learn how to negotiate diplomatically. We have to lay down the terms of engagement. Hindi lang po tayo oo ng oo. When we're talking to people about business, about our roles in life, at home, huwag po tayo mag-aaway. Hanggat maaari, i-negotiate po natin. Negotiation requires good communication. Sabihin po natin kung anong puso nasa isip, anong kaya natin, anong hindi natin kaya. And of course, ito network. Kanina nabanggit na rin po, binaliktad ko lang, we connect with people. Let's always assume that people come to our lives for a purpose. There's a reason for everything. And networking also connotes offering help and asking for help. Ano lang po yan? A win-win. Hindi pwedeng kabig ng kabig, but it's a two-way thing. O, organize. Sabi daw ng mga military, if you cannot organize your bed in the morning, how can you organize your life, di ba? So, very important po yan. Part of it is also your room, your house, and your thoughts. Ako, I believe in the cleanliness is, next to godliness. Hindi po tayo makakapag-isip ng tama kung madumi yung paligid natin, di ba? At hindi naman kailangang bago or mga luxurious yung gamit natin. Basta malinis, na maintain, parang mayaman na rin po tayo. Turo ng nanay ko yan. Pag daw ang damit ay kahit daw luma, pero puting-puti, kinula, hindi naman kailangan tied, kinula lang at sinukaan or kalamansi, mukhang mayaman pa din daw at disenteng-disente. O also stands for objectivity. Kailangan po maging fair tayo in our dealings. Huwag tayong nanglalamang. Kasi sinasabi, I don't know, Pastor Kino, kung nag-a-agree sa karma, yung word na karma, it's not actually, karma is for other religion. But being unfair is one of the evils, diba? Kaya may mga nagiging because of unfairness at hindi objective. Wag po tayong nagsaside. Hindi pa natin alam yung two sides of the story. Meron na tayong judgment. Kung objective tayo, we try to get both sides and be able to neutralize and mend the broken relationships and people. O also stands for openness. Huwag po tayo laging nagre-resist kaagad. Ito po yung napakahirap sa mga nakasanayan na sa lumang panahon or ayaw ng gumalaw, lazy. Laging may resistance. Kaya hindi tuloy nag-a-advance. When we are open, we welcome everything. Diba? Like si Sir Rads, napapansin nyo and ating mga coaches, they always tell in the end, may tanong po ba? Meron po ba kayong suggestions? Even if we're not able to do the ideas now, Just park it. In the future, magagamit mo po yan. So being open will really place you to an abundant place. Letter P, plan. Very important ang planning. Sabi nga ng boss ko na hapon dati, planning and execution is 80-20 Pareto rule. We always plan ahead. And planning ahead requires studying. We assess the risks. We assess the impact. Okay? Sometimes may mga bagay na hindi naman kailangan ng iplano. Yun siguro yung mga task na simple lang, routinary. But I think if we plan our day, our weeks, our months, mas magiging maayos ang buhay. But too much planning is also bad ha. May tinatawag na analysis paralysis. Sa kaka-analyze at kakaplano, wala nang nagawang action because natenga na siya dun sa kakaisip. Okay? Ito, yung Pareto Rule, 80-20. Sabi niya, ang Pareto Rule daw, teka, hindi ko masyadong kabisado ang terminology. 80% of consequences come from 20% of causes. So, kunyari, ito yung pinakasimpleng example. 100 or 10 ang binebentahan mo or sinisharean mo ng rights to riches. Pwedeng 80% dyan, hindi matuloy, 20% matuloy. Kung baliktad, mas maganda, di ba? Okay. Next, letter P. Dinoble ko po to, patience and perseverance. Okay. Yung spiritual life ko, determined my purpose just recently in December. Kasi nagkaroon ako ng dilemma kung babalik ako sa corporate life or itutuloy ko ang pagiging entrepreneur ko or and advocate. So, kasi naiinip ako sa fixed income, nasanay ako sa fixed income and bonuses sa bangko. Pero kailangan ibalik ko yung patience and perseverance ko sa pagiging entrepreneur and advocate kasi wala akong fixed income. But if I'm willing to work hard while waiting, I'm sure my father said, who has a very strong entrepreneurial skills, makakamit ko lahat yung mga resulta ng ginagawa ko ngayon. And that's what everyone is being urged here at Rads to Riches. Patience and perseverance will really pay off. Letter Q. Narinig niyo na po ba to? Covadis? Where are you going? Okay. Actually, kay St. Peter yata yan eh. Or where are you marching? Saan ka ba papunta? Narinig ko dati yan sa UP eh, nung estudyante pa ako. Where to? Saan ang patungo ang buhay natin? Okay? So tayo po ang magdi-define yan. And we cannot define it alone. We need the help of mentors like the pastors, the priests, our community, our life coaches, yan, and our friends and family. Another cue that I am so fond of using is qualify. Okay? Marami po sa masang Pilipino, hindi pa nagko-qualify, naniwala na. Tapos, shinare pa yung mga maling ideas, yung mga maling chismis, yung mga maling information. Tapos, hindi naman nila binabasa pala, share lang ng share. Kaya, nagkakaroon ng backward na mentality or maling kaalaman or information. Okay? So we have to categorize issues. Ito, importante po ito when we're on a daily basis. I think we have to qualify. If we are leading people, we are doing projects, saan nagkamali, kailangan i-qualify natin yung mga issues before we dive into the solution. Then, quality. Iba po yan sa qualify. Huwag mediocre. Yung sabi ko kanina na world class, hindi pwede yung pwede na. Kailangan pwedeng-pwede, maipagmamalaki, may standards, pinaghirapan, pinagtrabahuan. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta. Okay? Kasama din po yan sa personal branding natin. If we are perceived or we are, the impression that we're putting out in the universe is we do not want mediocre work, nakikita po yan sa atin. Okay? R stands for read. Yan. Para maging knowledgeable, magbasa po tayo. But, piliin po natin yung babasahin. We can start with the Bible. Everyone should read the Bible. Okay? We can read travel books. We can read fairy tales because C.S. Lewis, kaya siya nakagawa ng maraming quotes and positivity because yung imagination niya sa fairy tales kasi napaka-positive, di po ba? Kaya nga nagki-click yung Disney movies kasi it's bound on values and positivity. It also brings you to places and time. Kahit hindi tayo nakakabiyahe, di ba? Pag nakita na natin sa libro or sa magazines, ang mga lugar, napupuntahan na natin siya visually eh. And it creates a lot of positive hormones and energies in us. Okay? Itong R, yung RIT po, it's not a word. It's an acronym, RIT. Right in time and right on time. Ayan. Mahina rin ang mga Pilipino dyan sa punctuality. Okay? Baguhin na po natin yung fashionably late. Okay, in the Japanese business etiquette, kailangan po kami noon maging 5 minutes before the meeting, nandiyan ka na. Hindi rin pwedeng super aga. Ang title po, ang term nila doon ng Japanese is go funmei. Hindi ka rin pwedeng 15 minutes because it's putting pressure to the person you are meeting with. So, kailangan 5 to 10 minutes lang. Tayo mga Pinoy, hindi. Hindi yan magsisimula ng maaga. Kaya hindi rin ako pupunta ng maaga. Nakakaawa po yung mga kinakasal, di ba? Kasi late ang mga tao sa reception at saka sa ceremonies. Okay? Magkaiba po yung right in time and right on time, ha? Ang right in time is, it means before a deadline. Ang right on time means at a time previously specified or agreed upon. May kinalaman din po ito dun sa word of honor. So kung nag-usap kayo ng ganitong araw na isusoli mo yung hiniram mong pera, you make sure that you do it on the deadline. If you're not able to do it, then you give a heads up ahead of time yon. Reciprocity, yan. Lagi rin pong ginagamit yan sa corporate. Pero I think we're also doing it sa araw-araw nating pamumuhay. Yung utang na loob. Pero dapat tayo i-define natin yung utang na loob in a good way, no? Hindi po yung reciprocity sa bribery and corruption, ha? Ito po yung reciprocity na win-win. May mutual dependence po tayo. We're going towards a common goal at ibibigay natin yung mga best natin sa isa't isa, magkakaroon tayo ng exchange of benefits and privileges, skills, and leverage para magkaroon ng output or magandang outcome. So, reciprocity po yan. Parang kunyari, ikaw pinapautang ka ng bangko, bigyan mo naman din ng ibang negosyo pa yung bangko. Pwede mong i-refer, pwede mong dagdagan yung ibang product na ginagamit mo sa bangko. Letter S. 5S in the Japanese business etiquette. Yan po yung seiri, seiton, seiso, seikusi, seiketsu pala. Shizuki. Okay, sort, straighten, shine, standardize, sustain. Para walang clutter. And we need that in our house, in our workplace, in our own self. Kailangan natin mag 5S. Kung kilala niyo po si Marie Kondo, yan, kilala natin yan sa YouTube, di ba? Tsaka sa Netflix, nagpa 5S siya. And then yung SWOT analysis. Ito, gawain po ito ng mga managers and decision makers. There's always an analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats before sila gagalaw ng isang project or isang decision. And self-confidence. I want us to build self-confidence. And how do you do that? We practice. We attend this values formation. We attend webinars. We attend motivation talks like this one. We practice, we expose, we develop, and we practice. Ako po, kahit na medyo may katandaan na sa mga ina-attendan ko na talks, lagi talaga akong may napupulot every time I attend one. At ang dami ko pong natututunan dito sa Rags to Riches. T stands for transparency. Nothing to hide invites trust. Kung sana ganito lang lahat ng mga ating politiko at saka leaders ng bansa, di ba? Transparent. Kasi transparency is also part of integrity. And when you're transparent, you're trustworthy. So you will be relied upon by people as honest or truthful. And all of these values we teach. We teach ourselves, we teach our children, we teach our less privileged people. U stands for understand. By listening carefully, sabi ni St. Francis of Assisi, seek first to understand than to be understood. Pansinin niyo po, pag tayo ang nagsasalita, wala tayong natututunan, wala tayong naiintindihan kasi bigay ka lang ng bigay. Pero kung nakikinig ka muna, may matututunan ka. And utilize. Use your God-given talent and resources. Kasi kasalanan daw po yan, di ba, Pastor Tino? If you are given a blessing, a gift, you utilize it and you share it. You utilize it so it will grow, and the excess you can also share. At ito, yung universal truths. Huwag na po nating i-debate na truth is in God's word. Wala na pong ibang truth. Huwag din nating i-debate na change in this world is constant. So, kailangan tayo maging flexible and adaptable. And death is constant. Hindi po tayo unbreakable. Lahat tayo mamamatay. That's why we have to follow protocols ng pandemic. V. Yan, value. Yung value po, very universal yan, di ba? Lahat ng ito are value-centered. Pero I want to share with you some commercial terms ng value for your information. Meron po kaming tinatawag sa marketing na customer value. I think we're also practicing it here. So yung customer value, ina-analyze po natin what is it that the customer want, what will delight them. Ano ang mga bagay na magpapa-stick sa kanila to be loyal. And ano yung value proposition ni R2R? Ibig sabihin, hindi siya parity or hindi siya common sa market. Ano yung kakaiba na bibigay niyang value sa gagamit or magiging member nito? At perceived value. Yung sinasabi kong personal branding, it's also connected to perceived value. Okay? So yung value mo as a person, as a leader, yon, kasama po yung personal branding na effort. So si Warren Buffett, kilala niyo po ba? Siya ang naging inspiration ni Bill Gates, kung bakit naging mayaman din si Bill Gates. Hindi po siya nag-chase ng price ng isang bagay. Up to now, he's a billionaire already, multi-billionaire. Ang kotse niya, Toyota Crown na luma. Because to him, value is more important than price. Ibig sabihin po, ang isang bagay, hindi kailangang mamahalin. Okay? Importante yung value na binibigay nito sa atin. Okay? Viability. Ito yung feasibility equivalent. So, ang viability is concept also ng komersyo. Able ba to survive? Able ba to work successfully? So, itong Rags to Riches, before it was launched, itong viability, inaral yan nila Sir Rags at ng Board of Directors. So, masusing pag-aaral po ang ginagawa sa viability or feasibility study. And another is verify. So, kanina qualify, di ba? I-also verify by validating. Huwag tayong basta-basta naniniwala, lalo na kung walang bearing or basis yung mga sinasabi sa atin sa media. So maging matalino po tayo by validating. Okay? W, walk the talk. We do what we preach. Hindi pwedeng yung sinasabi ko lang dito ay hindi ko naman ginagawa. So importante po yan. So kailangan tayong maging role model kasi masisira ang ating integrity if we don't walk the talk. World class, yan kanina ko pa ulit-ulit. Ang Pinoy world class yan pag lumabas, di po ba? Kasi nagko-conform, mataas ang standard ng mga kumpanya, ng mga international companies. Pero ewan ko ba, pag nasa Pilipinas, nagiging hindi tayo world class. Kasi siguro dahil sinasabi natin, hindi naman yan matutuloy, hindi naman bibigay ng gobyerno yan, kinukorrupt naman. Huwag po tayong sumama sa ganon. We comply. We should have a thirst for excellence para maging world class tayo at lalo tayong umangat. Okay? And it makes us competitive in the globalized world. Lalo na itong Rags to Riches, ilo-launch natin yan sa global arena. So, pagiging world-class po niya ng features niya and then the processes, very important. And of course, wisdom. We gain this as we age. But wisdom is not gained by just, by not studying, by not educating ourselves, by not having life coaches, by not having mentors. Kailangan po natin yan magawa, pati ma-experience. Letter X, mahirap tong X, cross out irrelevant items. Lahat po ng mga basura, garbage sa utak natin, sa puso natin, i-cross out po natin yan para malinis at magkaroon ng linaw ang ating pamumuhay. And then itong sinas, ngayon ko lang naalala, ginugal ko po to eh. Yung Zina sa Channel 5 ba yun nung araw? Ibig sabihin pala niya strong and mighty, confident. So let's all be Zinas of Rags to Riches. Ipagkalat po natin sa mundo at maging confident tayo na i-share yung ating advocacy. And ito, favorite kong algebra eh. Finding X or finding Nemo in algebraic equation. Ang algebra concept po is not only in the academe, no? Lagi tayong find this X in a situation, di ba? Lagi tayong merong hinahanap. And yung hinahanap natin na yon is solvable with all the values and principles that I earlier presented. Why? Yield. We follow the laws. We yield to traffic. Ang yield is also interest or revenue. So if we follow the laws, the traffic, and everything else, magkakaroon tayo ng tubo or profit, di ba? Hindi laging loss. And YTD is an important concept also year to date. Mine-measure po ang ating mga businesses, ang ating mga accomplishments. Kasi di ba in a year, merong calendar year, fiscal year. Tayo, di ba meron tayong sitawag na kuminsan New Year's resolution. Or this quarter, I will be able to do this. Second quarter, yon. YTD po ang tawag niyan sa commercial. Meron din tayong year over year. So we measure also the performance of a business year over year, month over month, week over week. Ito pwede rin natin gamitin when we are formulating our goals to change, to improve better than yesterday. Do it on that scale. Last but not the least, letter Z, zebra, we zero in on our abilities. Okay? Huwag tayong anong tawag dito, unrealistic also. While we're also sharpening our saw, tingnan din natin muna yung ating capacity ngayon and where we're going in the future. We also zero in on positivity and what's at hand. Okay? In tomorrow, ano natin yan eh, ideals lang yan eh. Pero importante yung moment ngayon, di ba? Ano yung meron tayong pwede nating gawin, pwede nating i-bless yung iba. Ito yung zealous. Gustong-gusto ko po itong term na to. Gustong-gusto ko sa mga tauhan ko ang masigasig. Okay? Actually, sabi rin ng nanay ko, masigasig and maagap. Okay? Ang masigasig hindi lang masipag eh. I think masigasig is despite all the frustrations, disappointments, persevering ka pa rin, gawa ka pa rin ng gawa kasi naniniwala ka na yung perseverance mo magkakaroon ng output. Nagsisigasig ka parate. And of course, zest. Iba po to sa say la vie kanina ha. Yung zest for life is great enthusiasm and energy. Ang mga boss, gusto nila ang mga empleyado nila with great enthusiasm and energy. Kasi nakakahawa siya ng positive vibes, di po ba? Pero syempre, hindi lang enthusiasm, but may action tsaka output. Ayan. Nakompleto na po natin ang alphabets. Q&A. Question 1, 2, 3. Meron po ba?
Pwede pa kayo ulit lahat ulit?
Ayoko.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am Liz. Thank you very much.
Pinapatawa lang kita, Lisa.